Hey guys, it's Christy. Welcome back to my channel. Hello, Steve, you made it. First of all, my sweater, it probably looks weird because some of these snowflakes are green, and then with the green screen it makes it look weird, but it's a chicken that looks like Steve, and he's all wrapped up in Christmas lights. So, yeah. Before I get started with our Hi, Proud Mom 27. Welcome. Before I get started on the Idaho forest stuff, I just wanted to put this picture up. You guys know, well, most of you know, my extended family had a really tragic death happen after a routine surgical procedure, and I've been telling you about the 5 girls and how we want to try to make this a good Christmas, as good as it can be for the girls. And I thought I would share this picture of the 4 beautiful girls that were left behind. Like I said, my son's wife's brother was the one that lost his wife, and 3 of the girls are his, and 2 of them are his wife, Ashley's, who sadly passed away, and the services for her are tomorrow. So please continue to think of them and keep them in your prayers. We would really appreciate it. Hi, Steph. I'm glad Steph's here because today, this isn't going to be like one of my normal videos. I mean, we stay rooted in fact, generally. And some of this is going to be fact, but my best friend and I, Steph, who is my life's a hoot on here, she's in chat, we deep dived into some rabbit holes. There's a lot of them, and they are deep. And we did this, it kind of gives you an idea of what law enforcement is having to go through, and it will just kind of put it out there what is going on. Now, I'm talking Reddit, 4chan. 4chan is, wow, what a place. Instagram, TikTok, you know, all the social medias, Twitter, just kind of what everybody's talking about. Well, while Steph and I were diving down these rabbit holes, we saw some connections that they kind of made sense with what we've been talking about here on the channel all along. Specifically, the fraternity connection. Ethan's fraternity, Sigma Chi. And, you know, they're so close. It's right across the street. You can see the house from the Sig Chi house. And we've been saying it's so weird. We don't know that much about Xana and Ethan's activities that night. They had been at that party. Did something happen at that party? And we're starting to see connections. Now, this could be a person that maybe has an issue with these people, so they just concocted a story to kind of point fingers in that direction. Absolutely possible. Absolutely possible. But this person knows a lot about the people. And if nothing else, it's interesting. We're going to speculate today. And we're not going to say these people did it, they're absolutely involved. No, we don't do that. But with limited information, speculation happens, right? So that's kind of what we're going to do today. And I'm going to bring you as much as I can and let you see if you're making the same connections. Also, the bruise on my arm is still there. My back is killing me. It literally feels like my kneecap is broken. And yeah, I have 2 Band-Aids on. So, yeah, I'm in a world of hurt today. My mom used to say the 3rd day is the worst day. Like if you had surgery or something, apparently that applies to when you fall and hurt yourself as well. All right, there's a lot. There is a lot to go over. So we are just going to start to jump into this. Dr. Phil did an episode, and it was pretty good. It was a pretty good episode. He had forensic expert Joseph Scott Morgan, former FBI Special Agent Jonathan Gilliam, who I wasn't real thrilled to see there because he's the one that was kind of implying that Steve Gonsalves sounds like he's the killer. So, criminologist Dr. Casey Jordan, I like her. Daily Mail senior reporter Caitlin Becker, and cyber sleuth is what they listed her as, Lisa Marie. A lot of what they talked about was, the K-bar knife and how it's a good knife. It's a strong knife. The Marines and everybody use it, but it dulls really quickly and the tip tends to break off. And that could be valuable. Joseph Scott Morgan was saying at autopsy, when they do x-rays of the bodies, if that tip broke off inside of them and they find it, they can use that metal to kind of match it up to the metal of the knife. He said it's kind of like ballistics, basically. But they were saying that as that knife dulled, that the attacks would have gotten more physical and it would have required more effort to get those wounds because the knife is no longer as sharp. So was it a K-bar? Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. It is a very popular knife with hunters and outdoorsmen. Casey Jordan, she talked about incels and Stacy's. So I made those to show you. Hi, Betty. An incel is a member of an online community of young men who consider themselves unable to attract women sexually, typically associated with views that are hostile towards women and men who are sexually active. An internet subculture of men who are celibate and blame women for their lack of sex lives. So they are basically involuntarily celibate, and it's all the women's fault. And the women, they seem to refer to them as Stacy's. A Stacy, that's a slang term often associated with incels for a woman stereotyped as extremely good looking, but also vapid, vain, rude, and only interested in sex. The term is typically used to describe women who are white, blonde, with nice bodies, and the sensuality they hate because they can't have them. And she seemed to think that, this possibly could be an incel, and he viewed the girls as Stacy's. And Ken Maines, who you've heard me talk about, who, by the way, I'm getting a signed copy of his book, and I'm so excited. He's a cold case detective. If you haven't checked out his channel, Unsolved No More, do it. He did a video this morning. He has been talking with a death row inmate at San Quentin, and he has been imprisoned with the likes of Manson and the Night Stalker and people like that, and he's kind of studied them, and he's getting his view on this case, and it was so interesting. But anyway, Ken Maines says that normally it is, hey Reagan, hello, Reagan's here.
I know, I told her to be
Greed, sex, and revenge are usually the motives in a murder. I don't think it was greed here. Sex, possibly, but revenge, absolutely. And no, there was no SA. But Dr. Casey Jordan also talked about piquerism. I think I'm pronouncing that right. And that is sort of a state where the act of stabbing somebody kind of equates to SA for the perpetrator. So, revenge. We've talked about that since the beginning. When we did the motives and we broke down why each person may or may not have been targeted. Revenge was a big one. Did this person feel slighted somehow? Was there, somebody that tried to get into a sorority or Ethan's fraternity and they didn't get in and they're angry about that. Or in this case, this incel maybe was fixated on one of the girls or whatever. Or we've talked about proxy victims before. These girls may have just been proxies for Stacy's in general, and he killed them because they were unattainable. So I thought that was kind of interesting. And then I have just this really, really little clip I'm going to play here.
You spoke to someone who was at the party.
They told me that Ethan had words and that it got heated.
So that was the internet sleuth, what was her name? Lisa Marie. And we have been talking about that, about did something happen at the party? Well, apparently it's out there that there was a fight, some sort of confrontation. There were heated words at the Sig Chi party. And when we dive into the 4chan rabbit hole, you're going to see where their narrative fits with what she just said. So, first of all, let's talk about the Gonzalezes, of course. Right before I came on, I saw a tweet that apparently communication between law enforcement and the Gonzalez family has completely halted. Now, they have hired an attorney, and we're going to talk about that. And he is supposed to be doing the, hi, allegedly, welcome. He is supposedly kind of like the go-between right now. I don't know if that means law enforcement has halted communication with him as well, but it sounds like they're upset with the amount of information that was put out there, like the locations of the body and the wounds and things like that. In one of the previous videos, we talked about when Fox News reported what Steve had said about the wounds being more like open gouges and things like that, that he got real detailed about the liver and the lung being cut open on Kaylee. Well, in one of the groups on Facebook, I believe, it says it's Olivia Stevenson, which is Kaylee's sister. Now, I know people have said that there's people out there that have fake accounts under this name, but if this is her, she basically says that the reporter got bad information and that they're working with the lawyer to get that article removed. Fox News kind of came back and said, we tape all of our interviews, so when things like this come up, they can go back and say, no, see, they said XYZ. So I don't really know. And a lot of people had said, well, you know, the coroner said it was upper body and neck area, so how could the liver be involved? Well, I'm going to show you. Like I said, I was pre-med before, so I kind of was like, hey, we'll just show them some anatomy. So you can see in this picture, I circled where the liver and the lungs are, because a lot of people don't really realize where everything is inside. And the liver, part of it tucks up right under your lungs. So it would be possible if you're considering upper body. This actually, I think, shows it a little bit better. If you're considering an upper body injury, it's very possible this is a female anatomy that the liver and the lung could get lacerated. So I just wanted to throw that out there, that it may not be false what he said. So, like I said, they have hired an attorney, and his background is he started as a prosecutor in, and I know I'm going to butcher the name of this town, Multnomah County, at the DA's office. He recently moved from Portland, Oregon to Moscow, Idaho. Steve said that he has a lawyer for a reason. Sorry. That he rarely communicates with police directly anymore, and that police can talk to his lawyer now. So their lawyer's name is Shannon Gray, and he has a website called Wake Up Parent, where he can be booked as an expert speaker on the pitfalls of social media and the effects of social media on juveniles. Steve hopes the attorney can pressure police to disclose more details about the case. He also hired a PI who has experience as a cop for 50 years and an 87% success rate. So I don't know if it's 50 years as a cop, but 50 years as a cop and a private investigator, I assume. And then I have this little short clip of a Brian Enton video, and the lawyer actually speaks in this video. So let's take a look at that real quick.
We have hit now the 1-month mark since the gruesome unsolved murders of 4 University of Idaho students. And as more time passes without an arrest, we are learning new details about the morning police got the news that turned the town upside down. Senior national correspondent Brian Enton is live in Moscow. Brian, what's the latest out there?
Well, for the first time on Nicole, we are hearing details from police about what it was like here at the scene when they first arrived after the murders. I also, for the first time today, spoke to the attorney representing the family of victim Kaylee Gonzalez, talked to him about their relationship with the police right now. It is eerily quiet at the University of Idaho. With graduation over and most finals moved online, there are almost no students on campus. 1 month after the brutal murder of 4 students, and their families are anxious for any information. Victim Kaylee Gonzalez's parents met with the investigators just yesterday, according to their attorney. Have you or the family received any new updates on the investigation?
Well, part of our delay was we met with the investigators yesterday. We met with the prosecutor of the investigators, Chief Fry, and had a meeting with all of them. Part of our that meeting, actually, the kind of the theme of the meeting was 2 things: was accountability and communication.
Attorney Shannon Gray says the family wants a more consistent stream of information from police. He says most of their questions about the investigation have still gone unanswered, but they are hopeful police are doing the right things. New Tuesday, Moscow police released a video with new information about what happened soon after they got the initial call.
I got called at home. It was on a Sunday afternoon, and it took me a second. I really had to think about what I had just heard. 4 murders in Moscow, Idaho is so out of character.
Moscow Police Captain Roger Lanier says it was a somber scene when police arrived.
It was incredibly hard for the community, but it was also really, really hard on our officers, some of whom were very young, and that was the first real major crime scene that they had encountered. So emotionally, it was a very, very draining day.
Police maintain they have information they are not releasing, but they say they still have no suspect and continue to ask people with information on a white Hyundai Elantra seen near the house the morning of the murders to contact investigators. One question that I've been asked over and over again is why no reward? I mean, in other cases, we'll see a big reward. It makes people come out and talk. Why no reward here?
We've been so successful and really can thank the community and the public for all the tips they are providing us. We have so many and good ones. So we're in the process of vetting and categorizing all of those, getting those to the investigative team so they can take action on them right away. So we're in that process. A reward maybe is an option down the road, but we have such good information from the public as we are right now. We're working with that first.
And police today also expressing frustration with all of the rumors and theories on social media. They say those rumors are hurting the investigation. They say there are people connected to the investigation who have even received death threats.
Not sure what happened right there, but now I want to show you this. It's like a 3D house tour. I actually did it myself online, and then Steph sent me a video of it that somebody did on TikTok. So I want to play that for you because it's just kind of interesting to see the layout, like walk around, if you will, and see the proximity of the rooms to each other and things like that. So let's take a look at that.
A virtual walk through the Slane, Idaho house. This is the front door in the basement. Directly to the left are stairs to the main floor. Also to the left, down the hallway, is surviving roommate Bethany's bedroom. with a window to the view of the front parking area, and stair composition to the main floor. Back in the basement hallway to the right of the front door is surviving roommate Dylan's room. Another view to the front of the house and main parking area. Electrical panel, I assume. Let's go upstairs to the main second level. Xana's room down this hallway. Window to the front of the house. Going into Xana's room. There is a bathroom right outside of the room on the right, and a window to the front of the house. These stairs lead to the third floor. A closet and kitchen on the right. Now we are in the kitchen. This window would look out of the side of the house. And the suspecting sliding door for entry and or exit. Another window to the back of the house. Let's go inside the empty bedroom on the second floor to the left of the stairs. This room only has a rear view window of the house. Now we'll go to the third floor. Bathroom located outside of Maddie's room. Inside of Maddie's room to the right of the staircase. She has one window to the rear of the house. Kaylee's room directly across the hallway, and another window at the front of the house. Kaylee's room has one window at the front of the house and one sliding door to the balcony near the back as well. How could this possibly be one single killer jeopardizing entering a house of at least 4, let alone 5 people with Ethan?
Thank you, allegedly. Yes, please hit the thumbs up, like, and subscribe. They are free ways to support me. I agree. It would be awesome if you could go and do like measuring and we could get actual dimensions on it. I just thought it was kind of a cool look around, a little eerie knowing what took place there. So, okay guys, it is time to buckle up, fasten in, because we are about to dive down the rabbit hole. So, on 4chan, I don't know if I want to read it exactly as it's written because some of it is a little rude, but let's see what we have here. So, this person posted as Frat Anon, and it says, "Bruh, you can see the King Roadhouse from David's Sig Kai room." And now we're going to get into, we've got Jax, we've got Jake, and we've got David's now. 2 Davids. One is David, his last name is Barry Ocha. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but they refer to him as Barry. The other is David Loach, and a lot of times they will refer to it as Loach. So, bruh, you can see the King Roadhouse from David's Sig Kai room. Once that 3rd floor light turned off, they did it. 19 minutes total, walk included. And I've shown you the walk. It is very short. Talked about this shit at Bishop Kelly. Remember that. Remember Bishop Kelly, because it's going to come up again later when we go down another rabbit hole. Bishop Kelly appears to be like a Catholic high school. But remember that. Just tuck that away back there. Talked about this shit at Bishop Kelly and Sig Kai. Loach, that's the other David, and Ethan, got in a fight that night, which kind of goes along with what they said on Dr. Phil. X, Xana, allegedly talking shit. Loach, had probs with Maddie. Also, this shit been brewing since Fall Rush last year. Cunts went quiet on social media for 2 weeks before and after the deed. Barry's mom, a paralegal, so he knows not to say shit. Loach cleared his social media. Sig Kai 22 saw Ethan, Xana, Loach, and Barry at the party. Loach and Ethan have issues, back to Ethan rushing. Ethan talks shit about Loach taking roids and having his balls shrivel. Loach pissed as he wanted Xana. For dumbass youngins like Ethan, tutors are assigned. Barry blew it with Ethan. Ethan, a second-year fresher. Barry also self-conscious about his spick blood and talks empty shit. Barry and Loach talked about this shit in general for a while. Talked about leaving their cell phones behind and on YouTube autoplay. No pings, no guns, too loud. Area dead early Sunday mornings. Let's see what's going on in chat here. Stuff, yeah, bruh. I know, I'm trying to do frat boy, but okay. And then they said, I wonder if Loach realizes Barry is going to turn on him. Think about how weak Barry is to be led by Loach. If police interrogate him, it's over. He'll cut a deal because he didn't actually commit the murders, just stood guard, and he's weak-minded and easily influenced. Plus, his family has all the money. He's from one of the Basque families in the area. He'll get a good lawyer. Does Loach think he has a chance? This kind of is the comments under the long post that I read before. It says Barry got a bid, which basically is an invite to the fraternity. Barry got a bid because our house GPA sucked and the national chapter was on our asses. Barry is schizo. Dirty South, which I think is what they call Loach. Dirty South and Ethan could not be more opposite. Mads did talk shit. Dirty also pissed she with Rogaine Jack. Now, they say Rogaine Jack, but I think they mean Jake, because they're talking about him being Maddie's boyfriend. So I think Rogaine Jack is actually Jake. Mads also target. I'm not going to say what they call her, but Kaylee, not a target at all. Bad luck. Well-known fact. High probability some brothers are aware. Rogaine had ample opportunity and will play the grieving boyfriend. Barry actually talked about this shit in detail in the past. Wear electrician's gloves. Put on baggy clothes after and walk away. By the way, Barry's dad works for a professional cleaning company. He does. That shit was disposed of in Garden City over the Thanksgiving holiday. Remember Garden City? File that away back there, because it's going to come up again. Sorry, the dogs are having a growling match down here by my feet. So this is what somebody on 4chan verified. So for the Fradanon claims, we verified their pals on Twitter, verified King Street house is viewable from his Sigma Chi room, verified claim about Barry's dad working for professional cleaners, verified Loach's mom is a paralegal. That's a lot of accurate and verifiable info for a LARP, don't you think? And then this was some comments on a TikTok. Loach says, also read the Lindor quote AB, which is his abbreviation for about it. Will make for lots of fun defensive plays. And then somebody commented on Barry's TikTok and says, is this what you did to the Moscow murder? Please, he says, please don't make comments about something that obviously you aren't informed about. And he uses the AB just like Loach. Sorry, the Davids are getting confusing here. He uses the same abbreviation for about. Somehow, to this person, it equals Loach controls Barry. Barry is a little bitch. Pickrolled Barry's TikTok on the right. When a local accused him of murder weeks ago, uses Loach's signature AB abbreviation. I don't know that that's his signature because I literally just saw Brian Enton used AB on Twitter. So, hey Doug, everybody, no thanks is in here. Go over there and give him a like. Alright, so this is Barry's Instagram, which he has made private. You can see that he is followed, obviously, by Idaho, Sigma Chi, and Xana. And it looks like Xana follows most of the Sig Chi guys. This is his Twitter. His account apparently is full of shit that he'll get canceled for in 20 years. This is a post from him. So somebody said to him, the internet can truly be an awful place. Have you had any contact with law enforcement? Did you make any social media statements on these murders until now? Barry comments back, our fraternity has turned over everything we know, which is just about as much as everyone else. And no, we aren't making statements about it because we were interviewed. Basically, they're saying they have given everything to the police. He's being accused and it broke him. And he's making this statement about himself specifically. So basically he just posted to let everyone know that Sig Chi is cooperating. They're trying to be respectful and that the accusations have broken him. And they very likely may have. this is another post from Barry saying, I have routinely seen you falsely accusing those in our brotherhood. It is one thing to be wrong, but it's an entirely different thing to be peddling a false narrative with poorly vetted sources to generate engagement for your profile. Leave us alone, please. And then Loach commented back, who knew there were so many detectives in the world? Barry posted this pretty recently. The grieving process is unique to everyone that goes through it, especially in a situation that has no answers or closure. Something that makes this process more difficult is being accused of committing the unanswered act that you are grieving from. Please respect the people going through this process by not engaging in unverified discourse generated by unverified information. And then the last one I'm going to show you from Barry is this, where he claims to be the Basque Mafia. And Loach posted on his feed the picture from 9/11 when Bush got told about the towers getting hit, and it says, "Sir, we found him." All right, let me look at chat real quick here. Hello, Phantasmic Ether. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's one person, one knife, but it's a lot, 4 people to control 4 people. It's a lot. Okay, so now let's get into Loach. This is his Instagram. Like I said, he's also followed by Idaho Sig Kai and Xana, and she did follow, like I said, most of them. And his Twitter is protected now as well. He did post in a reply to somebody, what's the point in theorizing? From what I've seen, all theorizing has done is vilify my friends and other innocent students. And this person said, you have a thought on what happened. I know you all have heard info behind the scenes. Now this was interesting. This is a picture of Loach, and he's sitting on a couch outside, and he's smoking a cigarette, and it looks a lot like this couch that you can see from the house where the murders happened. Now, some people think it's the same couch. I can't tell. I mean, the lighting's different in both pictures, so I don't know if the colors match up or anything like that, but a lot of people are making a connection to the couch outside of the house. So I will show you again, just so you can kind of see where some of this stuff is coming from. Now, Sigma Chi, the national chapter, they made a post, and in that they included a statement from Sig Chi at the University of Idaho, and this is the end of that statement. It says that we have cooperated fully with the Moscow Police Department, Idaho State Police, and the FBI. With their extensive resources and utilities, we have pulled our full faith in officers, detectives, and agents assigned to this investigation. We trust that they are doing everything they can to bring a just and lawful end to this tragedy. A scholarship has been created in Ethan's name that will be presented annually to a deserving undergraduate member of the Gamma Eta chapter. If you would like to donate, please visit https://sigmachi.org/foundation/Ethan-Chapin-scholarship/. We thank you for helping us continue his legacy for years to come. The Gamma Eta chapter would like to ask for the public and news media's respect for our privacy as we work to finish our academic semester and continue down this tragic, unforeseen journey we have ahead of us. So the scholarship is nice. I'm going to show you this picture because of what I'm going to get into next. This is Hunter and Ethan. Remember, he was a triplet, and him and his brother are both members of Sigma Chi. And Hunter posted this picture and said that this is his brother and best friend. And a lot of people, when the 4chan fraternity story came out, were like, well, why would they do this to one of their own brothers, especially when that brother's brother is also a brother. Well, I have a name for you. This is Tucker Hips. And I'm not going to get into Tucker's story because I could literally do a whole nother video on it. But Tucker Hips was a student at Clemson I believe it happened in 2014. And he was pledging Sigma Phi Epsilon. And they had a hazing ritual. They were not supposed to do it anymore. Apparently, the SIGAPs had contacted the school and said, hey, can we do this run? And the school didn't respond back, so they took that as acquiescence that it was okay to go ahead and do. Well, Tucker was the one, he was kind of the go-between between the pledges and the current brothers. And kind of like the head of the pledge class, if you will. He was told to show up that morning for the early morning run, and he was supposed to bring breakfast from McDonald's, like 30 biscuits and 30 something hash browns maybe, and 2 gallons of chocolate milk. And he showed up and he didn't have it. And they were pissed. And he got into it with some of the frat brothers. So they go and they do this run that they're technically not supposed to be doing. And Tucker ends up dead. There were 26 or 29 other frat brothers there. 60 of them in total knew about what happened. It sounds like he was dangled by his ankles over a bridge, dropped on his head, and found floating in a lake. Now, everyone from the run, pledges, current brothers, everybody, they go back to their fraternity house. They stall Tucker's girlfriend, who wants to know, like, hey, where is he? How come he's not back? And they're like, oh, we saw him at the library, to kind of delay her in reporting anything being wrong. And it was 7 or 8 hours later before the police were ever called that he was dead. And some of the fraternity members have political connections. One of them actually ended up being, I want to say, governor of Delaware. And they never talked. They never talked. They've had a couple of people come forward, but nobody's been prosecuted. They will not turn on each other. This many years later, they still won't turn on each other. So it's absolutely possible that a secret like this could be kept. Yes, he was still pledging, but he was thought of enough to be like the pledge class president, or whatever they called it. He was going to get in. And they killed him, and they didn't talk. So the Greek silence is a real thing. I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying I wanted to give you an example. So, I don't know. It's been a month, and sometimes toxicology takes 6 to 8 weeks. So I don't know that they have all the tox back. Hopefully soon, though. It really is just going to depend on how busy that lab is. They've been expediting everything, so maybe they expedited that as well. And then there's this video. I looped it a few times because it's fast. You can see 4 people running by. This is the body cam video. You see those 4 heads just kind of go by. 1, 2, 3, 4. And a lot of people are saying, if you believe 4chan, they were headed back across the street towards Sig Chi. Because if you remember, the body cam footage is taken in Band Field, which is right by Sig Chi. And there's people out there, they're like, well, why would they run by the police? Blah, 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 blah. Well, we know from the body cam footage, they were in an unmarked vehicle. And maybe when they were running over there, they didn't realize the cops had somebody till they were already there and just went on by. And if for some chance, let's say 3 of them had been outside, like lookouts weren't involved, and one was the killer, and they did have different clothes on, they're not going to be dripping in blood as they run by. The police might have just thought it was drunk kids, because at the time they don't know a murder happened. Maybe they just thought they're running back home to the frat house. It's cold, so maybe they're walking really fast. I don't know. I can't explain it, but it's there. Could be something, could be nothing, but it's out there, so I wanted to bring it to you. That's what we do here. Okay. Now this is the picture they caught on surveillance. You've probably heard a woman that worked the graveyard shift at a gas station took it upon herself to go through the surveillance footage from that night, and she came across this picture of this white car speeding past the gas station at about 3:45 in the morning after the murders. It kind of matches what they're looking for. The bottom is the stock image of the Hyundai. The top is the surveillance footage picture of the car. The police went there. They shut the place down. They took, I believe it was 8 hours total of the footage, and are reviewing it, I guess, to see if there's a connection, if it's the same car or whatever. This is Carter. I'm going to call him Carter K because I don't know how. Kolpitke? Why do we care about Carter Kolpitke? Okay, well, he goes to the University of Idaho. His major is public relations, advertising, and marketing. Xana and Maddie both majored in marketing. Just bear with me. It's going to start to make sense. So Steph and I were talking, and we were wondering, did any of these frat brothers have a white car or a white Hyundai? And I was like, well, I don't know. I'm going to dig. Well, when I dug, I found this. This is Carter's car. He posted a picture and said he was someplace cool, but he's not telling us where it is. Who, what, when, where, why. And I was like, I mean, okay, this Carter kid has a white car. Okay, big deal, right? So he is a writer for University of Idaho for their newspaper. This says he's majoring in journalism and marketing. He's an opinion editor, news staff writer for the Argonaut, blah, blah, blah. In one of his articles, he was talking about getting older. He was kind of lamenting on getting older and having to take on, adult things like, mortgages and car payments and just, normal adult stuff. So he's talking about his 21st birthday was coming up in this particular article. And he says, so in traditional Moscow spirit, I will be at the Corner Club. Corner Club, that's where Maddie and Kaylee were this weekend. And I know it's a popular sports bar there, so this isn't probably a big deal. I will enjoy every moment that comes my way. I will make memories with my friends. I will be 21 this weekend and the next and the next. So I will relish in my youth, except, of course, I'll be acting 21 during my 37-year-old midlife crisis. Okay, are you still wondering why we care about Carter? So Carter follows Maddie, which, if they're majoring in the same thing, maybe it's not that big of a deal, right? Well, Carter has privated his TikTok. Come on, computer. Carter has privated his Instagram. So I kept digging. Remember when I told you, remember Bishop Kelly? Remember the Davids were supposedly talking about killing people all the way back to Bishop Kelly, the high school. Guess who went to Bishop Kelly? Carter K. He has a twin, and apparently they ran track and cross country at Bishop Kelly High School. Interesting. Then this is a quote from Carter K's mom that I came across. Her name's Kelly. It says, Kelly Kolpicki, whose son is a U of I student, tweeted at Idaho Statesman reporter Sally Krutzig that as a parent, it's so hard not to panic as U of I and Moscow Police Department officials were yet to release much information on the incident as of Sunday night. So I'm like, okay, everything with Carter is kind of protected. Let's see, what can I find out about the mom? So this is her Instagram, and when I checked, her account's private, but if you go to Xana, Maddie, or Kaylee's, Carter's mom is following all of the victims. A little bit weird. Okay, now this one, me and Steph were kind of like, pfft. Remember they said on 4chan the evidence had been disposed of in Garden City over Thanksgiving break. Well, if you go on LinkedIn, Carter K's mom, Kelly, is a teacher at the Boise School District. She's from Garden City, Idaho. Garden City, where the evidence supposedly was disposed of. So it's just these little connections. This is what I mean. When you go down a rabbit hole, you spiral, right? And it just keeps going and going and going. And this is what me and Steph have been doing for you. So you don't have to dive. We've done it. We've been there. Yes, Steph, it is like Delphi all over again. And we went down those rabbit holes together as well. So Carter's mom on her TikTok, she put up a video about the 22nd birthday party for Carter and his twin, John. And in that video, we see all of these people wearing University of Idaho gear. And she says that, let's see, Carter, 22nd birthday party for John Kolpicki and Carter Kolpicki in Moscow, Idaho. Carter made California burritos and mom brought each of them a cake. Apparently the included birthday candles are so boomer that they improvised and they used, like, they had jar candles or something. So they improvised with their own style. These are all of Carter's close friends and housemates, most from Theta Chi. What a great birthday memory for everyone. So he is also in a fraternity, but he's in Theta Chi, not Sig Chi. But he is also in the Greek life. Okay. So that's the 4chan Carter rabbit holes that I felt like we went down the 4chan rabbit hole and then it kind of took a left and we followed it down a different rabbit hole. But yeah, so all of that. Here is another update from our man, Brian Enton, and I'm going to get a drink.
Foggy day here in Idaho. Police haven't given any significant updates. They're still not saying that they have a suspect that they're looking at, but we know they do have this new surveillance video. A white car caught on surveillance video, now part of the police investigation into the 4 University of Idaho college students murdered. Detectives have been looking for a white Hyundai Elantra they believe was near the house where the murders happened more than a month ago. And an assistant manager at a gas station about a mile from the house reportedly went through hours of video and spotted this car at 3:45 in the morning speeding by right around the time of the killings. We went to the gas station, but no one there is talking, and it's unclear where the car was going or even if it's a Hyundai Elantra. A vaping business down the street also has cameras pointed in the direction of the road. A worker inside told me that police showed up looking for the video on November 22nd, but it was too late. The worker told me the surveillance video automatically deletes after 1 week. Moscow police not commenting on the surveillance video from the gas station, only encouraging people to continue to call in new tips. The FBI still very much involved in this investigation. You can see they've got their mobile command unit right here in the Moscow police parking lot. We are told that testing that they would normally have to do in Salt Lake City, they can now do right here. Families of the victims obviously still in agony, especially with the killer still on the run and rumors and baseless theories circulating on social media.
There are a lot of people out there that are, basically trying to get their 15 minutes of fame with, different theories or whatever it is. This is a family that has suffered a massive tragedy. And there should be a lot of kindness and grace that's offered towards that family.
All of the families obviously going through so much right now, losing loved ones, but also the fact that there is still a killer on the run more than 1 month later. Many of them are very, very frustrated. As for that white car in the surveillance video, police not saying much about it. We know they have the video, but it is unclear whether that car, it's very, very grainy, is even the exact model of the car that police are looking for. Nicole?
Yeah, we hope this will lead to some advances. Okay, Brian, thank you.
Okay, before I go any further, I also wanted to, before we get completely out of that rabbit hole, I want to mention there's a rumor that the Davids are a couple, that they're together. Some people have said maybe Ethan and Xana caught them together the night of the party. Can't confirm or deny that. There's a girl named Bridget, and she was also attached to the Davids in conversations. She has virtually just vanished. Any posts relating to her are pretty much gone. I don't know what her relationship is to the situation, but there is a Bridget that is also being brought up in relation to the Davids. I wanted to go over just some of the other stuff that's out there. So it was funny, the other night Steph messaged me and she was like, she sent me this article that they had bagged the hands of the victims. And I was like, what the fuck is she sending me this for? Sorry, Steph, I literally said that. And I read it and I messaged Steph back and I'm like, well, I sure as hell hope they did. And she started laughing because she had the same reaction. That's just standard operating procedure. I don't know why that was breaking news, but me and Steph both were like, well, duh. I mean, they always bag hands. I'm working on a 16-year-old cold case from here in Oklahoma, and they even bagged his hands. And that police department is completely incompetent. So if they thought to do it, I would hope that Idaho bagged their hands. But they bagged their hands because there's always potential evidence. They might pull hair. They have literally found hair in victims' hands. Thank you, Fran. Welcome. They found hair. They do fingernail scrapings and clippings looking for DNA and fibers. I mean, it's just standard operating procedure. So when Steph sent me that, her true crime brain and mine is like, we share a brain. So I thought, well, why does she think this is so exciting? Because I was just like, duh. So when I sent my response back and I saw that she was laughing and she agreed with me, I was just like, oh, she's just sending me this because it is ridiculous that it's breaking news at this point. Like, are we so desperate for information that, 3 weeks after the fact, I think is when that came out, that, oh, they bagged their hands. That's a big deal. No, if you're murdered, they're going to bag your hands. Or they should. Okay, so there's a rumor out there that they found a map of the house outside. I cannot find confirmation of that. Apparently, it looked like it said Maddie and Kaylee on it somewhere. I don't know where this came from. If there was a map of the house, that would definitely be interesting. But I don't know why people are thinking they found a map of the house. If somebody has a picture of it, please send it to me. I would love to see that. They served 50 search warrants, which maybe that sounds like a lot, but in this case, not really. It's kind of like the 113 pieces of evidence, which in some cases probably are a lot. But in this case, I don't know that it's even enough, because the size of the scene, the amount of people that lived there, the amount of people that came and went, 50 and 113 don't sound, astronomical to me. The 50 search warrants could have easily just been, digital data, cell phone dumps and things like that. So, I mean, yeah, I'm glad they served 50 search warrants, but don't take that to mean like they went and searched 50 houses or something like that. They probably had to have search warrants for each of those cars that they eventually towed away. They probably had to have search warrants to get the cell phone information for anybody that could be connected. There were 4 victims. There were 5 people in the house. So, I mean, no, there were 6. Get your shit together. Sorry. 6 people in the house. So everything's going to be multiplied by 4 or 6. So it adds up. So yeah, it's good that they served those, but I don't think it's anything to get overly excited about right now. Sig Chi social media, their Facebook has been scrubbed back to 2018. Their Twitter back to 2019. Their IG is pretty current. They have a post up about Ethan passing away. And people are wondering what that's about. Are they trying to hide anything? I don't know. Unless maybe they had pictures up from the party that night. Law enforcement very well could have told them to take that stuff down. But why it goes all the way back to 2018 and 2019, I don't have an answer for that. Okay, now these are some of the things. Remember we heard, Xana's mom got arrested shortly after, I think it was on the 19th, for drug-related charges, and then people were like, oh, that's why this happened. It was because of Xana's mom. She owed drug money. No. I don't think that has any connection to this at all. People are like, it was a cartel. I don't think a cartel would be this messy. I don't think a cartel, they would just come in and probably shoot you and be gone. And yeah, that's all I have to say about that. Of course, people are accusing Steve Gonsalves because that one FBI guy put it out there that he's talking like he has information about the murder. Well, I have made inferences, I have shown you diagrams like this could be the way they came in and they went up here, this happened, and then that happened. Am I the murderer? No. He's taking what he has learned and making inferences. So no, I don't think Steve murdered them either. There's a rumor out there about Dylan's dad, that he was trying to make up for being a shitty dad for all these years, and she had been complaining about her roommates to her boyfriend for a few weeks, and he came in and did it. I don't think it was one of the parents, you guys. I really don't think it was one of the parents. But while we're talking about Dylan, there's been a lot of talk about Dylan, and there's been a lot of talk about her boyfriend, Quinn. And one of my biggest questions has been, what about Bethany? We never hear about Bethany. There's really nothing out there about her. Nobody's talking about her. Nobody seems suspicious of her. I haven't heard that one of her family members did it. It's really weird that, Dylan is really getting a lot of scrutiny. She's really been under the microscope, but Bethany has not. And I found that pretty interesting. I look for any theories or speculation that involve her, and it's just not there. Other than, how did she not hear anything? And speaking of that, the neighbor that didn't hear anything and then suddenly remembered he did hear something, he did an interview. A lot of people are suspicious of him, and that's okay, but I don't know if I feel like it was him. He's a chef, so I was like, oh, he would be good with a knife. Okay. I do find it weird, though, that he posted that they had been murdered and he didn't see anything, hear anything, etc. Then he went back and edited that post and took out the part about not hearing any screams. And now, a month later, he's like, hey, maybe I did hear a scream. And in the interview, he said it wasn't unusual to hear screams, like from parties on Saturday nights. So he just didn't think anything about it while he was stick juggling or whatever he said he was doing. But then in hindsight, he thought, oh, well, maybe that wasn't a party sound. So yeah, it's odd. It's weird for sure, but that doesn't make him a murderer either. What else did I want to bring up? It's really about it. This is a map of different places that have picked up video of that white car that I showed you earlier. There was a vape store nearby that has cameras, but their footage is deleted on a weekly basis. So it's very unfortunate that they waited so long to come forward about looking for this car. I don't know if that's because they only just found out about the car. And I would really like to know, where did they find out about this car from? Was it seen on video near the house? Did somebody tell them they saw it near the house? But they're very adamant about this car, so I really feel like it is significant, and I hope they find it and it will lead to the resolution in this case. So keep putting that information out there for sure. Steph sent me some TikToks today that I want to share with you, because this guy, he's pretty much on it like we are, and he shows a lot of little interesting tidbits in there, kind of what we've been talking about, you know, the theories and speculation that are out there. So I want to share, I'm going to show you the first one here.
They're closing in. We're going to see some arrests maybe this week. The cops are very focused on the Hyundai Elantra at this point because they need DNA evidence. They need a murder weapon. I think they know full well at this point who the main perpetrators are, but I think there are a lot of people involved. We only have about 5% of the information that the police probably have, and even the information that we have is so complex and conflicting because all of these people's lives were so intertwined. These kids all lived within a stone's throw of each other. They didn't really have privacy. They had very public, intertwined lives. That's what makes it ultimately impossible that nobody heard anything, nobody saw anything, nobody knows anything. Impossible. Have Kaylee's father on camera saying that there were noticeable changes in the victim's behavior before the crime happened. The victims, as in the other roommates? Why are all the roommate rumors focused on Dylan and her boyfriend and nothing's being said about Bethany? These rumors don't come from nowhere. They come from people that know these kids. Then we have Jack Hadovich, who was the last person that Ethan Venmo'd before he died.
That someone paid Jack's sister that day and captioned it 3:30 a.m.
Food truck guy, Jack Showalter, that seems like he was being a good guy and looking out for them at the food truck, but then they kind of ditched out on him on purpose. But maybe it's because Kaylee was back for that one night and she wanted to hang out with her ex-boyfriend, Jack. Supposedly, Jack, the ex-boyfriend, lived directly across the street from her in this apartment complex, and the community is so tight-knit, he knew that she was coming back for that night and probably was expecting a call from her, so it's kind of weird that he didn't answer. Supposedly, his alibi was that he was upstairs sleeping and his roommates were playing video games all night, so they would have seen him and come down. But look at where his apartment is. Like, you could just walk off the roof. We see them all on the roof. You can just walk down to the ground, into the woods, and get into the house. Now we have the 4chan post that's implicating the two David. Here we got David Loach. It looks like he's sitting on that black couch that's in the backyard. And then we got the other David, who's posting a lot of incel content like this. Whoever whoever did this would have been covered in blood, but we don't see blood trails coming outside either of the doors, so they had to have changed or showered. And who would have the confidence to do that unless they warned the roommates? Why was Xana's dad there fixing the lock the weekend before? Did something happen? Who was Kaylee fanatically texting with at the food truck? Was that Jack? And then when she got home, he didn't answer her phone calls? But the way that these people's lives are so intertwined, the way that they live right on top of each other, the way that everyone in that 4chan post knew everything about these people, it's certainly someone that's in the inner circle. Was the 4chan post a diversion so that the police think that the murder weapon's at Garden City and they stop looking for the Hyundai Elantra? I think we're gonna find out just how corrupt that fraternity is in the next few days, and we're gonna be surprised by how many people knew about it.
So I hope you enjoyed that, because I thought he really got a lot in there. If y'all had to make a list, who would be on your list? Are the Jacks still on there? By that I mean ex-Jack, Jack D, Jack Hoodie Guy, Showalter, and Jack K that had the whole weird Venmo transaction, who may or may not have been driving Etha and Xana around that night, and then his sister had that $330 payment on Venmo. What about the Davids that I've introduced you to today? What about the Carter person that I've introduced you to today? And Bridget, whoever Bridget is, do you think the roommates know something? I think if we could find out what's on all of their phones, that's going to give the cops so much information. Like, who was Kaylee texting at the food truck? What was she saying? Were there any voicemails left to Jack, or was it just call, hang up, call, hang up, call, hang up? Who did they talk to that day? Who did they talk to that night? Even like while they were out, before they got home, were they texting and talking to people after they got home? I still want to know what the interaction was with the roommates that survived. They were supposed to be home before everybody else. Did they interact with Xana and Ethan when they came in? Maddie and Kaylee when they came in? You know, did the girls sit down in the kitchen area and hang out with everybody while they ate their carbonara? Or did they take it upstairs? I mean, there's so much that I think would really be helpful. Yes, Betty, I think we can definitely eliminate Murphy. Murphy did not do this. Murphy is completely innocent. And he's with Jack D now. So there's that. But yeah, apparently Murphy was not in the room, and he didn't witness it, and he had no evidence on him. And personally, I'm very happy to know that Murphy did not have to watch that happen. Yeah, there's a lot of people. The neighbor, I don't think the one neighbor, was it Jeremy, that was talking so much at first that quit talking. I never really suspected him. I really didn't. Now, Stick Juggler, yeah, he's a little sus, but I don't know if he's a murderer. But there's so many suspicious people around this case that you can almost come up with like means, motive, and opportunity for all of them, right? So it makes it really hard. And then when the police are like, well, we've cleared these people, and now they're saying, well, we're re-interviewing these people. I mean, the inconsistency of information coming from police is not helping. You know, the whole targeted, not targeted, the house was targeted, the people were targeted. Ugh, you know, it feels like this wasn't just necessarily like a spur of the moment thing. It does feel like it had an element of planning, because the lack of the blood trail outside, that still blows my mind. I feel like the person definitely knew the house, knew the layout of the house. I think he had a victim or victims in mind. And as I've said before, if he went upstairs, if the victim that he was targeting were Maddie and Kaylee. Xana and Ethan might have heard something and were killed because they confronted him when he came back down. It was Xana and Ethan were the targets, and maybe they heard Kaylee and Maddie on the phone, or Maddie and Kaylee came down and like yelled down the stairs like, hey, what's going on? Is everything okay? They may have killed them to eliminate witnesses. So it's hard to say who was targeted. I've said it before, the seriousness of the injuries doesn't mean anything to me, because if somebody fought back, they may have been more viciously stabbed in the fight. The order doesn't mean much to me. If they were going after Kaylee and Maddie and they encountered Xana and Ethan first, they had to take them out first to get to their target. So, you know, none of that really factors into my thinking at all. I don't know how close this person was with them, but I definitely, like I said before, you start with their inner circle and work your way out. I feel like they were definitely at least on the fringes of that circle. They may have not been a very tight, close acquaintance, but they did know of them. I don't think, just the location of the house itself and being on a cul-de-sac, it's hard for me to imagine that somebody was just driving around and decided to pick that house and magically found it open in the back or a window unlocked and said, yep, I'm going in here, I'm going to do this. In a house that large, you don't know how many people are going to be in there. Are they males? Are they females? Are they armed? Are they not armed? How big are they? You're not going to take that chance. Not going to take that chance. You had a good idea of who would be in there. Maybe you weren't expecting Ethan, but you had a good idea that it was females. If they were armed or not, you knew. You knew. So I still feel like it was a male. Somebody that at least on the fringes knew them. Maybe in their mind thought they had more of a relationship with them than they actually did. I feel like this was anger, rage, jealousy, revenge motivated, but that, you know, it leaves it wide open. It leaves it wide open. Oh, one thing I wanted to play for you. So you saw my rant video about Joseph Morris and making shit up for clicks and views. I heard his channel got banned, but then I heard that it was back. So I don't know if he just scrubbed some of the videos where he was spreading bullshit lies and then put it back up or what. But I want to show you what a piece of crap this guy is. He was recorded, he was on a phone call or like a video chat and being confronted about making up his bullshit lies and spreading them. And he basically is like, yeah, I effing love it. I love that I'm getting clicks and views for that. So I want to play that for you just so you know what a piece of crap this guy is.
I love it. I fucking love it. Well, of course you love it, but I'm just saying it's like, you know, even though you know it's fake, it's like you still watch it and you're like, this is so wrong. Like, and the problem is that you have such a following that like you know what you're doing
because I love it.
Wait, but aren't you my thing is personal responsibility? Meow came in here the other day and he was like, yo, I trolled the whole internet by telling a straight up like
piece of crap. Sorry. Let's see. Someone knows something. They just have to have the courage to come forward. Yes. Reagan was suspicious of the roommates from the start. Could be Linda. Definitely could be somebody completely off the grid. Juggling sticks guy can't keep his story straight. I unfortunately think it was ex-Jack. I can't take him off my list. I can't. Especially that video and that picture I showed you, that look at the damn memorial is so... There's something there between him and the dad, I'm telling you. Samurai sword. Could be. It could be. I was thinking when they were talking about the type of wounds, you know, I immediately thought, if you've watched The Walking Dead, I thought of Michonne's katana. So... Oh, yeah, allegedly, yeah. What a piece of crap. Oh, good. Meg's just checked and it's still banned. I'm glad to hear it. I hope he doesn't get to come back. And if he does, I hope it's not monetized and that he doesn't have near the following that he used to. Because, like I said, it's just dangerous to put stuff out there because you don't know, like, if people are really believing what you're putting out there... I don't know. I can't stand it. Like, we went down rabbit holes today. We speculated today. But I'm not out here telling you, this is the truth. These Davids did it. This Carter did it. No. I'm putting out there the crap that's out there so you guys can make connections and make your own conclusions. I'm not going to make up some bullshit story and go and alter text on an online article to make it look legit and try to tell you that, oh, this is the scream that happened. Can you imagine when it happened? When I first heard it, I got my daughter and I was like, listen to this. I'm like, this is bullshit. I'm not buying this at all. I'm like, it would be so easy to fake this. Before it even came out that it was fake, I was like, no. I'm like, I could go outside and yell and have you record it. No, this is bullshit. I didn't believe it. But what if you're the parents? Because the Gonsalveses have said that they get a lot of their information through the news. So what if they saw that and they were like listening to it to see, is that my daughter's voice? Because that's why I told my daughter, I said, well, if it is real, the parents would be able to recognize whose voice it was. Can you imagine? I would have been destroyed if I heard that and even just for a few seconds thought that that was real. That was like one of those girls yelling. Ugh. I hate that he does stuff like that. I hate it. Yes, Megs. So Olivia and Jack D, the ex, used to be friends on Facebook and they're not anymore. And I found that interesting because the mom, Kaylee's mom, and the sister Olivia, they're the ones that came out and they were like, we are 100% behind him, 1,000%. He did not do this, blah, blah, blah. The dad has never said that. I get the vibe from the dad that he doesn't trust anybody. But he doesn't seem supportive of Jack at all. But the mom and the sister have consistently been supportive of Jack. And then, of course, we know, Jack hugged her at the thing and whatever. But now Olivia and Jack aren't friends anymore. And that's very interesting. See, we're speculating again. But could that mean that suddenly maybe she's not as confident in Jack? I don't know. And his hair has magically gotten darker. And his facial hair has changed. And like I said, speculation and rabbit holes. But once you get started, you almost can't stop. It's a crazy train. Okay, I got one more TikTok from that guy for you that is interesting. I'm going to play that and then we will talk a little bit more and start wrapping things up because I've kept you guys here for an hour and a half already. I appreciate you all coming and hanging out with me, but one more TikTok and then we'll talk and wrap things up.
The house, it's just sitting up there like everyone can see in all the windows. The whole town is sus. You can see the third floor from the Sigma Chi house. You can see it from the ex-boyfriend's house. You can see in there from behind the house. The killers could have been anywhere, watching and waiting for that light to turn off. Is everyone here related? Why do they all look the same? A lot of them went to the same high schools, which that's just a recipe for disaster. A neighbor reported that he heard a scream at 4 a.m. and then when the media reported on it, he went back to that Facebook post and deleted that part of the post. Sus. How would a neighbor hear a scream but someone in the house didn't? After roommates reported hearing nothing, why delete the post? Everyone in the town is in and out of each other's houses, all over each other's roofs, and you're telling me nobody knows anything? That's a little sus.
All right. He's pretty good, I think. What do you guys think? He's on it. If you're here, if you haven't already, please give this a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. Click the bell to all. I would really appreciate it. It's free to subscribe. If you want to become a member, you can do that as well. Be a part of the Steve Squad. But please, for sure, like and subscribe. That would mean the world to me. It actually does help me out. It gets the video out there for more people to see, and I really do appreciate it. So yeah, that, like I said, that's about it. I do want to tell you, if you have any Christmas pictures or Christmas pet pictures that you want me to include in my video, go ahead and email those to me by Sunday. We're going to do the dog Christmas party this weekend. We tried the reindeer antlers on them yesterday and they did not like it. Chief is going to be Santa because he's got all this fluff that kind of makes him look like he's got a Santa beard. And Steve is going to have his edible garland, and we're going to tape it all and include some of your pictures, some of my pictures, and it's going to be fun. I'm going to put the picture up of the girls one more time from my extended family that are dealing with the tragedy of losing their mom, and ask you again, just keep them in your thoughts and prayers, and hope that this holiday can be as normal as possible for them. That's our goal. That is our goal. Keep information out there about this case. Hopefully somebody will break. Hopefully somebody will talk. Somebody absolutely knows something. It is a close community, and especially if it's a younger person, they're going to slip up and say something, I hope. So just be brave and come forward with what you know, and let's get this solved for these families. I hope you all survived our trip down the rabbit hole. I know it was a long journey. We took some turns and some twists, and I hope everybody survived. Thank you, Linda. Thank you, Reagan. Yes, Betty, it is so sad. Like I said, the services are tomorrow, and everybody's kind of nervous about how that's going to go. The mom was like asking the funeral director if she could bring alcohol, so that's not a good sign. The brother might be moving in with my son and daughter-in-law, so that would be good. And they've adopted the dog as well, so my son and daughter-in-law adopted the dog because Andrew, who was the husband, is moving out. So yeah, it's all about the girls right now. But yeah, thank you guys for spending an hour and a half of your Thursday with me. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got something out of it. And think about it, and then send me your comments or emails and let me know what you think. And if you know of any more rabbit holes that me and Steph should be jumping into. Sorry, Steph, I just volunteered you. Yeah, thank you, proud mom. Thank you for being here. It is my pleasure. But yeah, if there's something about this case that I haven't covered that you want me to cover, put it in a comment or put it in an email, and I will absolutely dig in and see what I can find for you. So I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day. I am going to go kick back and relax and watch TV with Steve and I will be back on soon because there are, believe it or not, other cases that I'm covering that I haven't gotten to because of this case. This case has been all consuming, keeps me up at night. But there's news in some of my other cases that I want to bring to you. So I'm going to be working on those and getting those to you as soon as possible. So thank you all again. Have a good one. I love you all. And don't forget to hit the thumbs up on your way out. As always, I will see you all in the